everybody. Welcome to skedLIVE. Today is November 21st. I'm your host, Devin Imrie, and here's the major news stories of the day. A 17-year-old victim was fatally shot on Saturday while visiting friends in North York. The teen has been identified by the Toronto police as Kahim Clayshawn Ramsoo Chit. Police say Ramsoo Chit was at a friend's home on Sorham Court near Jane Street around 11:30 a.m. when he had 4 to 6 shots fired at him over a fence by 2 suspects. Investigators say the victim was unknown by the police, but they believe he was targeted by 2 men. The suspects fled in a dark-colored vehicle and have yet to be identified. In Vancouver, a group dedicated to helping drug users from overdosing on the downtown east side is organizing pop-up safe drug injection sites. Sarah Blythe and Ann Livingston founded the Overdose Prevention Society in September because they described the area as a war zone. Volunteers will offer first aid supplies and have CPR training in order to help just in case of an overdose. The group offers to watch users take drugs and monitor them to make sure they're okay, and if any major problems occur, they will intervene and call paramedics to the scene. 622 people passed away in British Columbia between January and October compared to 397 in the same period last year. For more on this story, check skedline.com for Joe Smith-Englehart's article. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took part in the APEC meeting on Sunday that was held in Lima, Peru, where the Pacific Rim leaders vowed to fight against protectionism. Trudeau met with the major leaders including Vladimir Putin, China's Xi Jinping, Barack Obama, and the leaders from Mexico, Philippines, Japan, and Australia. Even though President-elect Donald Trump was not president, much of the meeting seemed to be about Trump. Chinese officials believe more countries will be joining a China-led trading bloc after Trump's election victory. Trump promised to pull out of the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership deal, which goes against President Obama's advice. Trudeau is one of the many leaders concerned about the future of the TPP following the U.S. election results, but said, as we move forward, we're keeping our options open. The Vice President-elect Mike Pence has confirmed Mitt Romney will be the top pick for the Secretary of State. Pence said that Governor Romney is under active and serious consideration to serve as Secretary. Trump has also confirmed Jeff Sessions as Attorney General and Mike Pompeo as Director of the CIA. Also in Trump news, the National Post confirms the First Lady, Melania Trump, and their son Barron will be remaining in New York after Trump becomes president. Trump said Melania and Barron would be moving very soon after Barron has finished school. Melania will be one of the very few First Ladies not to move in the White House, but has said her primary role is not a political figure, but as a mother. So now let's go to entertainment with Daniel Plant.
Welcome to Entertainment News. I'm Daniel Plant. Justin Bieber and Drake have won big at the American Music Awards. The 2 Canadians took home a combined 8 awards, including Best Artist in their respective categories, a feat for Drake considering it was his first AMA. Pop star Selena Gomez made an emotional speech about her struggle with depression surrounding her diagnosis of lupus. She received thunderous applause. Green Day took a shot at President-elect Donald Trump and his supporters by singing the lyrics "No Trump, no KKK, no Fascist USA." Trump was also ridiculed by co-hosts Gigi Hadid and Jay Pharoah. Continuing in Trump news, the president-elect was lampooned on Saturday Night Live again. This time he was portrayed as having no plans for when he was president except canceling many of his election promises. Trump apparently watched the skit and tweeted out his disappointment, writing that SNL does not give equal time on their program to mocking Democrats. Alec Baldwin, who played Trump, responded on Twitter writing that the election is over and so equal time is not necessary. The barbs against Trump and his administration just keep on coming from entertainers. Mike Pence was leaving the play Hamilton about the former president when actor Brandon Victor Dixon addressed Pence in front of the entire audience, telling him that many do not feel they will be protected in a Trump-Pence administration. Pence said he was not offended by Dixon. Nevertheless, Trump has repeatedly blasted the show and its performers on Twitter. Metallica will be playing in Toronto soon. The metal band announced they will play at the Opera House. Members of Metallica's official fan club, Fifth Members, have the chance to get early, less expensive tickets, and non-members will be able to buy tickets at $50 apiece. All proceeds will go to the Toronto Brand Daily Food Bank. A new Apple commercial featuring Toronto's Drake is paying homage to Taylor Swift. In the ad, he lip-syncs Swift's song Bad Blood about a relationship gone bad. Both Swift and Drake put the ad on their personal Instagrams. Swift helped rocket Drake to mainstream recognition when she lip-synced his song Jumpman, also during an Apple commercial. After the first commercial aired, Drake's iTunes sales jumped by 431% in less than a week. Drake and Swift have been reported to be spending a lot of time together, but are apparently just friends. In box office news, the film Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them netted $75 million over its debut weekend. That's good news for J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter fame, who wrote the screenplay for the movie. Also premiering last weekend was The Edge of 17, which netted around $4 million, and Bleed for This, which netted around $2.5 million. Be sure to check out skedline.com to read Daniela Nevis's article on the Fantastic Beasts display in Toronto. Fans of the Gilmore Girls are rejoicing. The show is returning for a revival season on Friday. The show first aired in 2000 and has since developed a cult-like following. The airing, called Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life, will be a 4-part series, and the show's creator, Amy Sherman-Palladino, says that it will be aimed at established true believer fans. Speaking of fans, many are planning viewing parties for the event, and some will feature food the characters enjoy, namely pizza, Chinese food, and a lot of coffee. Blue Jays relief pitcher Joe Biagini once again appeared on The Late Show with Jimmy Fallon. Biagini was on earlier in the week and swept through the audience giving out high fives. In what became a well-known blunder, Fallon missed Biagini's high five. To right the wrong, Biagini appeared on the show a second time, and the two were finally able to high five. Biagini has a reputation of a joker within his team. Well, that's all for entertainment news. Let's go to sports with Rob Lowry.
Thanks, Daniel. Humber Hawks dominated in the States this weekend, where the women basketball swept Sault Ste. Marie in an impressive 71-46 victory. That game was tight near the half, where they had a 3-point lead. It was in the second half where they soared and solidified their winning game, which advanced their record score 5-0. The Hawks return to home court this weekend, where they'll play on Saturday against St. Clair. In more basketball news, the Sacramento Kings beat the Toronto Raptors in a controversial game last night. The Kings ended up beating the Raptors 102-99 after waiting out a video review to see if the Raptors had forced overtime on Terrence Ross's three-pointer. After timeout with 2 seconds left, Ross grabbed a deflected pass, dribbled, and made a 33-foot shot, though officials believe that the time was up. The devastating loss left fans in shock and Raptors coach Dwayne Casey in dismay. Casey says, "I've got to hear another explanation better than that because we reviewed it about 10 times in there." The Raptors play against the LA Clippers tonight at 10:30 at the Staples Center. The Toronto FC are in a historic game against Montreal tomorrow. Both teams have entered the Eastern Conference Championships, the first of the head-to-head matchup between the two. The winner of the matchup will enter the Audi 2016 MLS Cup, becoming the first Canadian team to battle for the championship title. The game kicks off at 8 p.m. in Montreal. Yesterday was a packed day for football fans, with 2 semifinal games playing one after the other. The Ottawa Red Blacks faced off against the Edmonton Eskimos at home yesterday during a snowfall that had players slipping and sliding all over the place. The TD Place Stadium hosted the winning team, where the Red Blacks beat the Eskimos 35-23. Shortly after, the Calgary Stampeders dominated the BC Lions with an impressive 42-15 victory. The Red Blacks and Stampeders face off at 6:30 this Sunday in the 104th Grey Cup at the Toronto's BMO Field. Canada's very own Patrick Chan soared to an incredible victory on Saturday in the Grand Prix Figure Skating Cup in Beijing. Chan started off at 3rd place after the men's short on Friday. It wasn't until his free program where he scored a 196.31 for a combined score of 279.72. China's Boyang Jin placed a close 2nd place with a combined score of 274.54, with Russia's Sergei Varanov placing 3rd. According to CBC, the Cup of China is the 5th event in International Skating Union's Grand Prix Series. The 6th and final event will take place in Sapporo, Japan on November 26th to 27th. Now here's your weekend NHL roundup. 11 games were played on Saturday and 5 yesterday. It was a tight game between Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs on Saturday, where the Canadiens beat the Leafs 2-1. The Canadiens scored goals during the first and second period, while the Leafs scored their only goal during the second. The Detroit Red Wings hosted their losing game yesterday, where the Calgary Flames beat them 2-3. The Winnipeg Jets lost to the Carolina Hurricanes 1-3. The Hurricanes got a head start in their first period, scoring their first of 3 goals. It took the Jets the first 2 periods to score their first goal, while the Hurricanes followed suit with 2 more. The Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Washington Capitals 3-2, while the Los Angeles Kings beat the Anaheim Ducks 3-2. That's your sports news for today. Now back to Devin with some more of today's news.
Thank you, Rob. According to CBS News, 4 police officers were shot in separate occasions on Sunday across the U.S. One officer shot in San Antonio while writing a traffic ticket to a motorist when he was shot dead in his squad car by another approaching vehicle. The police chief identified the officer as Benjamin Marconi. The next shooting hospitalized a 46-year-old police sergeant in St. Louis. The sergeant is in critical condition but is expected to survive after being shot twice in the face. The third occasion involved a Gladstone, Missouri police officer who was shot in the shoulder during a traffic stop. His injuries were treated and has since been released from the hospital. And finally, in Florida, an officer was shot in his squad car wrapping up a routine traffic stop around 8 p.m. when he was shot in the shoulder by an oncoming vehicle. Luckily, his injuries were not serious and the suspect was taken into custody at his home. In North Dakota, police sprayed water cannons in order to disperse over 400 protesters that were trying to move through a barricaded bridge. Tensions grew large over the Dakota Access Oil Pipeline again, where a riot in Cannonball, North Dakota took place. Protesters stood outside in -2 weather while being sprayed by hoses mounted atop of an armored vehicle. They also reported being shot with rubber bullets, tear gas, and concussion grenades. The protesters are arguing that the barricades set up by the police block emergency services from reaching the Standing Rock Sioux reservation. The Morton County Sheriff's Department said people were trying to go through the bridge and set fires in the area. The protesters became very aggressive, therefore categorizing it as a riot, which allowed police to use water cannons. Protest organizers are using the Cannonball Gym for emergency relief, with medics treating those who were injured. Check your fridges, because a large amount of Sabra hummus is being recalled across the United States and Canada after concerns over possible listeria contamination. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says that listeria has been identified in their manufacturing facility. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, although said there has been no reported illnesses in Canada linked to the hummus brand. The current recall by Sabra includes all hummus products with a best before date of January 23, 2017 or earlier. These concerns made Sabra to recall about 30,000 cases of their hummus. Now Nelson will give you the BizTech news.
Thanks, Devin. The federal government has announced its plan on eliminating the use of traditional coal-fired plants by 2030. Environment Minister Catherine McKenna announced the plan today ahead of the ministers' meeting in December. This plan is to accelerate the timetable that was set by the Conservative government in 2012 for the 4 provinces that still use coal for electricity. Coal-fired plants account for 11% of Canada's electricity capacity, but 70% of greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases are down 30% from 2005, and experts believe it can be down another 30% by 2030. For the first time in 5 months, the wholesale figures have dropped in Canada. Statistics Canada said that sales figures fell 1.2% in the machinery, equipment, computer, and communication areas for sales. The drop comes after an increase in the 4 of the previous 5 months. Sales have dropped in every province for the month of September. Sun Life Financial is overhauling its life insurance application process, but cutting down on intrusive health tests as a way to make it easier for customers to get coverage. The Toronto-based company will no longer routinely collect saliva, blood, or urine samples. New medical research and reassessments of the company's process has altered the way the company evaluates health risks. More than half of new customers will be exempt from this rigorous testing method. This effort from Sun Life comes as the company is looking at technology to simplify its processes, trim the time it takes to get coverage, and cut back expenses. Sun Life has been growing more than its competitors at a rate of 13% over the past 5 years. The battle of coffee in Canada has taken new heights. McDonald's and WestJet have signed an exclusive deal for coffee to be provided to customers. Starting today and being implemented fully by December 1st, McDonald's will be the only coffee on 650 WestJet flights. They will serve around 30,000 cups of coffee per day across all of the airline's planes. The coffee will be served in a custom-made cup with a special McCafe and WestJet design. Instagram is launching new features that make it even more like its rival, Snapchat, than ever before. The Facebook-owned company now allows users to send disappearing videos and pictures. The features are very similar to Snapchat. The content will disappear once the person receives it and goes through it. This announcement comes 2 months after Instagram launched Stories, which is a feature that allows people to post multiple posts on the same day on another feature that Snapchat launched first. This update is expected to be out today. Tesla CEO Elon Musk says that a solar roof that is sold under Tesla Solar City is still cheaper than installing a normal roof. Musk says that his roof would replace conventional roofs with new tiles that will harvest energy from the solar roofs. Musk says that the solar roofs cost less to make, produce, and install. In order to do this, Tesla had to buy the company Solar City in order to build the solar roof. The unveiling of the new roof was made in Los Angeles along with 2 other products. The best, most advanced weather satellite is now in space. The GOES-R spacecraft will track weather in the US in a way that has never been done before. It will track hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, and much more. The GOES-R was launched Saturday night. The GOES-R will show full images of the Western Hemisphere every 15 minutes and show the United States every 5 minutes. Storm regions will be updated every 30 seconds. The first of its kind lightning mapper will take 500 pictures every second. The series should last until 2036. And now to Bernadette with the weather.
Hi everyone, today will be mainly cloudy with 40% chance of flurries and winds reaching speed of 40 kilometers and gusting 60 kilometers an hour. The temperature will be a high of +1 for the rest of the day. Tonight, more flurries to come, although a little bit less windy with an expected low of 2 degrees. Earlier today, we spoke to Humber students about their first days of the winter weather.
So, what do you think of the weather today?
It's finally starting to get good.
I hate the snow so much.
Pretty upset about it.
Had like literal piles of snow on the road.
I want it to be summer again. I was just glad that I don't live further up north. I'm really not enjoying the wind.
Made me almost want to cry.
See that you're not wearing a jacket right now. How are you not cold?
Well, I am.
But at the same time, it's getting me ready for Christmas. So I'm like, it's worth it since Christmas is like a month away.
It's a great time to just be with friends, family, and then just enjoy the company.
As we look at the 5-day forecast, Tuesday will be a mix of sun and cloud with light winds and high of 2 during the afternoon. Overnight will be cloudy with a low of -5. Wednesday, we'll see a mix of sun and cloud with 30% chance of rain or flurries and a high of 3 degrees. Overnight, the skies above Toronto will be cloudy with a 40% chance of rains or flurries with a low of 1 degree. Thursday will be cloudy with a 60% chance of showers with a high of 7 degrees. The cloudy skies will stick around through the night with 40% chance of flurries and a low of 2 degrees. Friday will be cloudy with a 40% chance of showers or flurries with a rise of 5 degrees. Overnight will be cloudy with a low of 1 degree. Saturday will be a mix of sun and clouds with an expected high of 4 degrees, making a beautiful start to the weekend. Now back to Devin for more news.
Thanks, Bernadette. In an apostolic letter released on Monday, Pope Francis has given Catholic priests the power to forgive abortions. In his letter, the Pope says that abortion is still viewed as a grave sin, but with priests along with bishops having the power to forgive, it's easier for women to rejoin the church. The letter continues to say there is no sin that God's mercy cannot wipe away when it finds a heart seeking forgiveness from the Father. Pope Francis ends his letter by granting all priests the faculty to absolve those who have committed the sin of abortion. Since his papacy in 2013, Pope Francis has pushed the Catholic Church to a more forgiving and merciful direction. More than 30 people are dead and dozens more wounded after a suicide attack on a mosque in the Afghan capital of Kabul on Monday. Officials say an attacker entered the mosque around midday when it was full of worshippers. This marks the third major attack on minority Shiites in Kabul since July. In a statement written in Arabic, the Islamic State claimed that one of their fighters was responsible for the attack. After meeting with the UN envoy, Staffan de Mistura, Syrian Foreign Minister Walid al-Muallim, and the Syrian government have refused the envoy's proposal for a truce in Aleppo. According to the CBC, the Syrian government also says it would not grant autonomy for the East in exchange for calm. The foreign minister says Damascus will not allow Aleppo to be hostage to 6,000 gunmen. He says that he and the envoy agree that terrorists should leave the east end of Aleppo to end suffering. The minister proposes that no dramatic change should be made in the administration of Aleppo until there is a political solution. This has been News Now. For all the stories, check out skedline.com. And until next time, I'm Devin Imrie.